first episode of SLiNK TV. I'm your host, Rifki Baum, and today I'm joined by our very blonde panel. Our first panellist is Becky Barnes, the co-founder of Plus North and the social media manager for SLiNKboutique.com. I'm also joined by Plus model, Grace Brackstone, and the winner of America's Next Top Model, Whitney Thompson, who's also now a successful plus-size model. On today's episode of SLiNK TV, we'll be discussing some of the top plus-size stories that have happened in the past few weeks. We'll also be showing you how to solve some of your style dilemmas, as well as interviewing our guest panellist, Whitney Thompson, on her life since America's Next Top Model. Talking about teenage girls, this was a story that I came across. We've discovered, apparently, that teenage girls are getting even fatter, and now a staggering 60% are obese, according to waistline measurements. Firstly, I mean, that comes down to sort of BMI and things like that, which is slightly sketchy anyway. Yes. But it was really interesting to hear, Becky, you saying, you know, the effect it has on teenage girls. But are we having an effect on teenage girls? Is the media still having that effect? Yes. If girls are getting bigger and women are getting bigger, is it more that they're getting bigger anyway, but they feel that social pressure? Or are more women going, actually, do you know what, there is more clothing brands, there's more plus size role models, and are we throwing that sort of, you know, out the window?
I think it's kind of a mix of everything because, you know, some people comfort eat when they're depressed. You know, if you're told that you're fat and you're not worth anything, you know, at school you're getting bullied, you're going to go home. It can go two ways. You can either become bulimic or anorexic, or you could become an overeater, which is also, let's be honest, guys, that's a problem.
Yeah.
You know, which isn't recognised.
Well, binge eating.
And
I think
it's not.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that is sometimes the most frustrating is when you see that, you know, having anorexia is an eating disorder, but sort of binge eating and overeating is just, it's gluttony.
You're just fat. You're just fat. Like,
but it's still, you know,
it's mental.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I went in a vicious circle as a teenager, which kind of got my body to just stop and not respond to anything, because one week I was starving myself for the whole week. I was at the point of passing out, and then I would just cave and I would go and buy lots of food, and I would binge it, and you just get in a vicious cycle.
Exactly.
Well, you end up staying in exactly the same place.
I have a theory on this, because I think the problem, you know, with the introduction of plus size models being that, you know, the average American woman is a size 14, but size 6 is considered plus size.
Is American.
Which is still not big. It's still under your national average. Yeah, considerably. The problem with that is that there's no happy medium. There's no one for people to look up to and go, I want to look like that. If they want to look like me, then they're saying they want to look like a plus size person. And the negative connotations that come with that. And so I think people are either going, I want to look like, you know, Victoria Beckham, that sort of size, or I give up, I'm just going to be plus size. And there's no one that is just a healthy, normal size, role model, average woman. Yeah, and I think the problem is, you know, obviously I'm below average size, but this person, if they want to look up to me, it has to say, oh, she's plus size. And I think that's really the mental...
You know, when we're calling size 12 girls,
it starts distorting people's kind of...
there's no like, oh, I'm size 8 and I'm happy and healthy. It's like, oh, you're size 8, you're plus.
It's not, it's just all about like the whole, you know, what's acceptable. At the end of the day, it doesn't, I've always said this, it doesn't matter what size clothes I wear, as long as I'm happy in it and I look fabulous. I could not care less.
If it gets onto that moral level, just be a good person. It's like, what does it matter?
It doesn't. The problem is like with sizing and whatever is, particularly as a younger girl, you have friends who are mean, want to know what size you are, especially as a tall girl. It was always a bigger size. And they're going to put you down, not because you're fat, not because you're whatever. It's because they're dealing with something internal and they're taking it out on you. They have their own issues. But I didn't know that when I was 16 years old. You know, it took me a really long time to figure out when people call me a fat cow. It's not because they think I'm fat, it's because they hate themselves on the inside.
It's a difficult, that's difficult, and I don't know who studies these polls, because I don't actually think that's...
I would question the kind of... When did they start recording this? I mean, where have girls... I mean, I was a teenager 20 years ago.
5 minutes
it's
ago.
like 20 years ago, and it's like, I know I was big, and I know there's lots of other girls in my school who are big. So when did they start taking these measurements? When did they start making these records? It's really questionable.
Every kid goes through the stage of puppy fat. Do you know? Because your body's like storing more fat. You're becoming a woman, and you're going this way instead of this way for a little bit. And then it's too much pressure. Do you know what I mean? Like it is. It's a hard time. I just think people need to have a more positive outlook on life.
If you've got any comments on today's topics, don't forget you can tweet us at SLiNK Boutique or at SLiNK Magazine.